Now, welcome back. Without any shade of doubt, corruption is one of the greatest threats to the socio-economic and political development of any nation. And Nigeria has been mouthing a fight against corruption over decades. Yet, the United States, for instance, has its own opinion about our fight against corruption. And in the course of the week, it came out and more or less said that we were just mouthing it. We were not doing much about it. And the president said that most of those who scream, fight corruption, are actually the most corrupt in the country. Now, to look at the fight against corruption with us this morning, it's my pleasure to welcome senior lecturer at the Nigerian Law School, Mr. Nelson Ogbuanya. Good morning. A lecturer from University of Lagos, lecturer in political science, Mr. Dele Ashiru, as well as Mr. Babatunde Badamose, who is a public analyst and also a politician.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
It's always a pleasure.
And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
The president, let me start with what the president said recently, Mr. Guaya, that the most corrupt Nigerians are the ones who scream, fight corruption the most.
Yeah.
I'd like your comment about that. That's an interesting statement for the president to make, don't you think?
I think the president was right, because the issue here is that it becomes a cultural thing. The people who are corrupt are shouting anti-corruption, and the people who are beneficiaries of corruption are shouting anti-corruption. So it becomes endemic and cultural. So if, for instance, you get government office and you are not delivering to your people, they see you as a sellout, or you are not performing, you are not doing well because you are not stealing enough. So your people believe that you are not doing well because you are
not stealing enough.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So that is the problem. So the person that is saying in one mouth anti-corruption is in another mouth condemning somebody who was clean. That this man, I think, is just there just to speak grammar. He would have gone there to get something for his people. So it becomes a representative issue that if your own person is in power, you expect him to cut much and bring back home.
So saying corruption, we need to fight corruption, seems to be the politically correct thing to say.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, just politically speaking, but active action are not there.
Okay, let me swing to Mr. Badamosi. We've been talking fight against corruption for decades. How do you think we're doing in this fight? Do you see any signs of us actively fighting corruption?
When you say us,
Nigeria.
if you're talking about Nigeria as a country, in terms of all the citizens of Nigeria, I think we're doing very badly. If you're talking about certain specific government agencies, non-governmental organizations, okay, and not-for-profit organizations, I'd say that some of them are actually doing quite well in terms of whistleblowing, in terms of pointing out clear instances of corruption, okay, and unfortunately, some government organizations, and I'm going to single out the FCC on this one, have had a rather checkered history of going after corrupt elements in the society. I'll cite, for instance, the issue of the former governor of Delta State, James Ibori, who was arraigned on a large number of counts at a specially created court. We now hear that the court was specially created for him at Asaba, the Federal High Court at Asaba, with Justice Marcel Awokulain presiding. And I think about 97 charges he was, absolved of every single one of them. Only for the EFCC haven't changed the pattern. The person in charge at the time haven't left. The FCC went after him. Okay, he skipped town, headed to Dubai, where he was hunted down, grabbed, and shoved over to the UK, where he was arraigned. And then for the same charges, which a Nigerian court found him not guilty, he was jailed. After a very open, very transparent, very clear trial. Now,
Doesn't that put question marks behind our judiciary?
yes, it does. It does put a massive, giant, ugly question mark on the integrity of the judiciary. However, that is not to say that every single judge in Nigeria is corrupt. Okay? It does say that there are some very, very rotten, very, very bad eggs in the Nigerian judiciary that need to be rooted out. And we've seen a gale of retirements over the last 2 or 3 years of judges accused of, sometimes it's frivolous injunctions being granted, sometimes it's what legal term do you use for?
Orders.
Not orders, when someone is
Exercise of
adjudged to be not
discretion.
guilty.
No.
Yes, very, very inexplicable exercises of discretion
Yeah.
by judges. Granting of ex parte orders in the dead of the night or when the court is on holiday. These type of things do tend to besmirch the reputation of the judiciary. And I'm glad to see that the current Chief Justice of Nigeria and the National Judicial Council are not taking things lying low. They're actually going after some judges, maybe not all of them. It's possible that it's an issue of capacity. I don't know. But it looks like they are going after some judges, and some corrupt elements in the judiciary have been rooted out. Now, let's come back to the anti-corruption agencies. The AFCC, if I recall correctly, and if you all remember, made